break it apart by highlighting. I know it may seem like a little childish, but the kids get it. So explain the role African Americans such as Washington and Du Bois played in social reform in the early 1900s. So I would start by doing it like this with them, and then I would do a we do. I would probably still have it laid out in the same form, but you can see, like, they'll always restate the question, so you can emphasize that. But then identify social reform, and then I highlighted it up here. And you can see that we just broke down and highlighted it so that kids can see how to break apart a question. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So identify social reform, it's in yellow. And then how did Washington affect social reform? We highlighted his name so that they know they answered that part of the question. And then how did Du Bois affect social reform? And we highlighted his name up here in the question. So it's something really simple. You can even use like markers and have them write the answers out. So like in this one, you might want to use a different color besides yellow, but they could write this answer out in that color. Does that make sense?
This all sort of came up as we were looking at when we were visiting with PLCs, and everybody's kind of mentioning the same thing, that kids are having a hard time finishing a multi-step task. And I know it was even an issue we had in middle school that if there's a 3-step question that you give them, they answer the first part, check mark, they're moving on, and they forget part 2 and part 3. So Hannah popped up and said, hey, guess what I did for that? And I thought, what a wonderful idea this is. But this is to help them to see that there are more parts to the question, and until all the colors have been addressed, you can't move on. Now obviously when they get to an ECA prompt, they can't sit there with a little highlighter, but mentally they'll be able to hopefully picture that highlighting process of moving through the question.
Here's a highlighter.
So they would be,
Yeah, so they could do that.
yeah. Yeah.
But,
Do you have them do it for something like that?
What do you mean?
Like if they were taking a standardized test, do you have them do the highlighting, or is it just something that they would practice beforehand so they have that mental process? What's your thinking on that?
You got it.
No.
Okay.
But it would be nice if
But not-
you guys could share this out and I'll upload it to the PD website. If you haven't joined the PD website, join it, because that's where I put all this information so that when you're sitting at home making your lesson plans and you're like, I need that example, or I need that piece, they're there for you. So they're all in one spot and you don't have to Google and spend hours looking for things. So I'll put this up there. And I've noticed in schools I've been in, if we all decide to do one thing, obviously, they go to my class, they go to your class, they do the same process, they're gonna get that 26 times in or whatever a lot quicker, okay? Thanks, Hannah.
And if you need any help, let me know.